Okay, real talk. Not the version of yourself you show at work or post online. The raw version that lives behind your eyes when nobody's watching. Your coworker just got fired.
The one who always had the right answer in every meeting, who made you feel like you were somehow slightly behind.
And if you're being completely honest, the first thing you felt wasn't sympathy. It was something quieter.
Something warmer, something you immediately buried. Your ex just got cheated on.
Your friend's business just collapsed. The one they wouldn't shut up about for 6 months at every dinner.
And when you heard it failed publicly with debt attached, there was a moment. A small, quiet flicker of satisfaction. You said the right things. You performed the ritual of the concerned friend. But that moment happened, and what it reveals is darker than you think. This feeling has a name. Schadenfreude. It's German because that culture has a visceral honesty about human darkness that most other languages decided to just not have a word for. It translates literally to harm joy, pleasure derived from the misfortune of others. Most people treat this as a shameful glitch, a sign that something is broken in them. But here's what the science actually says. Schadenfreude is not a malfunction. It is a core feature of your nervous system. Researchers have documented it in children as young as 4 years old. Before they understand what a reputation is, small children already show pleasure at a peer's misfortune. This isn't something society installed in you. This is your original factory setting. And the reason goes much deeper than you expect. Your brain has one primary function that overrides everything else. Not happiness, not morality, status calculation. Every time you walk into a room, hear news about someone, in your social circle, your nervous system is running a continuous, automatic comparison. Am I higher or lower? Am I winning or losing? In the ancestral environment where your brain was forged, status was the difference between eating and starving. If you were low status in a tribe of 150 people, you slept at the cold edge of the fire. You got the worst food. You were first to be left behind. Status wasn't about ego. It was about physical survival. Your brain hasn't received the memo that the environment changed.
It's still running the Savannah program. And on the Savannah, every loss for a competitor was a direct gain for you.
So when someone in your social circle falls, your nervous system doesn't register a tragedy. It registers an opening. And then it does something you have no control over. It floods you with dopamine. When your brain perceives a drop in a competitor's status, the ventral striatum, the brain's primary reward center, fires. The same region that responds to food, to sugar, to winning money. When a rival falls, it releases a reward hit neurologically identical to personal success. To your primitive brain, there is no difference between you winning the race and your competitor tripping at the finish line. The most unsettling part is the timing. This happens in milliseconds before your conscious mind even knows what's happening. By the time you process what your friend just said, the ventral striatum has already cashed the check. Only then does the part of you that cares about being a good person finally catch up and manufacture the appropriate response. The head tilt, the softened voice, the "oh no, that's terrible. We are two people living in one body." A primitive animal that already enjoyed the win, and a social performer covering the evidence. But the dopamine hit isn't the only thing you feel. There are 2 more layers underneath that almost nobody talks about. The first is relief. Imagine standing in an open field and hearing a bullet whistle past your ear. So close you feel the displaced air, and then hearing it hit the person standing next to you. Before grief, before horror, your body exhales. Every muscle releases because the bullet found a different target. This is what happens when you hear about someone else's ruin. Some part of your brain registers, not the target today. The predator found someone else. And more than that, you are watching someone survive it. Which means it's survivable. Their pain becomes your evidence. Your brain uses their suffering as a trial run for your own resilience. The second layer is even more psychologically complex. And if you've ever struggled and then watched someone successful fail at the same thing, you already know what I'm about to say. Validation. We all walk around with a shameful suspicion that the people above us have some secret code we don't have access to. We fall short. And we tell ourselves privately, maybe I'm just not good enough. And then a titan falls. Someone who seemed to have it figured out. They fail. Publicly. Completely. And your ego gives a quiet, dark nod. Because it finally has the evidence it needed. It wasn't that you weren't good enough. It's just that hard. For everyone. Even the giants. This effect is most powerful in competitive domains. If a stranger in a distant city loses their business, you feel nothing. But if your direct rival, the one competing for the same promotion, the same audience, experiences a collapse, the hit is massive. All three layers fire simultaneously in that millisecond gap before you can choose to be a good person. And this is the most uncomfortable truth of everything I've said. The most dangerous people aren't the ones who feel this, they're the ones who refuse to admit it. The person who claims they never feel satisfaction at someone else's misfortune, that impulse is still there, still firing, still influencing every decision they make. They just can't see the strings. It leaks out in passive-aggressive concern, in being the first to share bad news under the guise of keeping everyone informed. The darkness doesn't disappear because you refuse to look at it. It just moves underground, where it apparates without any oversight. You cannot delete the status calculator. You cannot stop the ventral striatum from firing. The circuit will fire, always. That is not within your control. What is within your control is the millisecond gap, that tiny sliver of time between feeling the hit and acting on it. In that gap, you can feel the ancient primate in you celebrate, see it clearly for what it is, a status ping from a nervous system that still thinks it's on a savanna, and then choose empathy anyway. That is the actual work of being a conscious human being, not pretending the darkness doesn't exist, seeing it so clearly that it no longer drives you from the shadows. Real kindness is not the absence of dark impulses, it's the courage to see them and choose something different. The rest is just performance. If this resonated, drop a comment. Tell me about a real moment when you felt this, when the satisfaction was louder than the sympathy. What did it feel like to finally stop hiding it? Because here's the thing, the fact that you watched this entire video, the fact that you recognized yourself in those scenarios, the fact that you're still here right now, that already tells me something about you. You're not the person who scrolls past the uncomfortable stuff. You're the person who leans in. That's rare, and that's exactly who this channel is built for. Most psychology content will tell you what you want to hear, that you're good, that you're kind, that the dark thoughts don't count. This channel does the opposite. We take the parts of human nature that everyone pretends don't exist, and we put them under a microscope. Because understanding yourself honestly is the only way to actually change. If that's what you're here for, subscribe. We're going to keep going where most people are too afraid to look.